Welcome to Modern Home Masterminds with Bespoke Brokers. I'm Shawna, Glazier, designated broker and owner.
And I'm Brittainy Williamson, associate broker with Bespoke Real Estate. Shawna and I are Bespoke Real Estate, but we're also your guides to modern luxury across the entire state of Arizona.
Each week we speak with masterminds shaping the modern spaces. Do you want to get a behind-the-scenes look at your design build team's processes? Open communication will lead you to the dream home that you want.
From architects to builders, designers, and more, let's explore the art of modern living together.
All right, welcome back, listeners. Do you want to know what it takes to truly get a blackout room so you don't have to wake up with the sun? Well, today's guest, Eric, is here, and he knows exactly what it takes and what type of window coverings and design collaboration will get you what you want.
That's right. Eric is the owner of Modern Shade. Modern Shade specializes in interior and exterior custom window treatment motorization and offers premium brands such as Crestron, Lutron, and Hunter Douglas, just to name a few. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome. All right, so Eric, when we're showing property, we constantly have clients ask us, are these blackout shades in the primary because they don't want to wake up with the sun? But in talking with you, it seems like there's a lot of variations of room darkening shades. Can you tell our listeners a little bit more about these different options that are available and what you have to do to actually truly black out a room?
Sure. So we are very specific about what we refer to as blackout at Modern Shade. Just because with years of experience, we've learned the different levels that blackout can take and also what different homeowners require. So we rarely call a shade a blackout shade. Now, while the material can be blackout and completely opaque, whether it's a shade or a drape, we can use completely opaque material. But once applied to some type of treatment, like a shade or a drapery, it's no longer blackout because those fabrics are not attaching to the wall, they're not attaching to the floor. So any areas where light can get through, it will get through. Light is like water. It'll find any crevices, any cracks that may be available, and it'll pour right through them. So even when we create a shade out of a blackout material, we call it a room darkening shade. It will darken the room quite a bit, but it will not be completely blackout. In order to get to completely blackout, we need to seal the treatment off completely. So for example, with a shade, we would have either channels running along the side that the shade rides in. Those channels would be attached to the wall, usually caulked and painted into place to make sure no light's coming through. Same thing on the bottom with a valance over the top so no light comes over the top. If it's a drapery, same type of thing. We need to have a valance over the top of the drapery to make sure light's not coming over the top of that drapery and make sure the sides are tacked. The fabric is tacked all the way down the wall, tight to the wall so no light pours through, and obviously the drape needs to come to the floor. So little details like that are what make the difference between a room darkening treatment and an actual blackout treatment.
Yeah, it's almost like a blackout curtain is deceiving. It should be like a blackout process to get what you want.
Yes.
There's a lot involved in it.
Yeah,
And even
a
I
lot
can
involved.
imagine just even a ceiling fan or some sort of fan on the shade would bring the light in if it moves it and stuff.
And that's why those channels that I mentioned would hold that fabric from being blown around, especially here in Arizona where everybody's got central AC, everyone's got vents on. I think HVAC people have convinced people that homeowners that having the vents closer to the windows is going to be more energy efficient. So that sounds great and that may be true, but from a window treatment perspective, it just means now I've got cold air blowing against window treatments that are up against a hot window. So there's just a lot going on. That hot window sucking the fabric. If you've ever been in a room where shades are down during the summer and the AC is on, the windows are sucking, that heat is sucking that fabric into the window, and the AC is there blowing it around. So there's a perfect storm usually going on in the rooms we're trying to block out. So there's, like you said, a big process to achieving that ultimate goal.
Yeah, that is something I've noticed before. I've been, in a home or whatever, and the blind is like sucked in to the window. So that's interesting to know that that's
Because
why
of the
that
temperature
happens.
difference with it being so hot outside and then the air conditioning on the inside.
I've never thought about that. That's the difference in buying your own blinds from Or shade coverings from Home Depot or hiring a professional to do them for you.
One of the differences. I hope there's more.
But yeah,
but that's one.
Yeah,
one of them.
we'll get into that for sure. Well, we know that you've been doing this for nearly 30 years, which is crazy considering how young you look. But what do you think are some of the most important things that homeowners need to know when planning either a build or a remodel? Because we know a lot of times in what we do that your business, your shades often come last.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said after you said how young I look.
I know, right?
So lots of things involved. And it depends on the type of project because we do everything from new builds to remodels to just adding a couple of shades in a room. So the most important thing, I guess, for everything is plan ahead. If you're doing a remodel and you're thinking about changing out some windows and maybe changing the structure of a room, yeah, it's never too early to get us involved or any window treatment specialist involved, especially one like us that comes out for no fee. We're happy to come out, do a free consultation, tell you how much room you need to have if you want to inset those treatments in there, or tell you what type of wiring you need to run if you want to do motorized shades. And the same thing goes with new build. Our most successful projects, we're involved before they break ground. So once plans are printed out and they're talking about electrical needs, they're talking about how to control the lighting. The windows are the biggest form of lighting, if you will, that needs to be controlled. So we need to be a part of that. Again, we can help if you want to hide the shades into the ceiling or into any kind of pockets in the wall. We can help so your framers know how to frame for that. If you want to tie them into your home automation system or lighting system, we can work with your lighting company and lighting designer to make sure they're properly integrated. We can make sure any large windows, we're planning to get them covered with as few pieces of fabric as possible. All these tiny little details that if you wait until the windows are in and the walls are up, it may be too late to address them the way you really wanted to. So again, it's just never too early to get us involved.
Seems like, I mean, everything you just said, you can really customize everything that you're doing.
Everything we do is custom. But even if you're not working on a custom home, like I said, even if you're just doing a little remodel, getting us involved as early as possible are going to net the best results in the end.
Yeah, that's interesting. Can you walk us through the process when you meet with clients? Like, what does that look like? How do they engage you? And what does the whole process look like?
So depends on the client as far as where we begin. So we're either going to begin in our showroom, especially if the home is still under construction or not yet under construction. We'll meet in our showroom or sometimes in a builder's office or showroom, and we'll lay out a set of plans, and I'll find out what's north, south, east, and west, and we'll just walk room by room and what your needs are. Because a lot of times, whether it's by plans or if the home's already built, we'll meet with the homeowner in the home, walk the home. Either way, the first thing they'll say is they'll just start pointing to windows. Okay, we need shades here, we need shades here, we need shades here. And I try to slow them down. And I say, okay, this window here, why do you need a shade? And usually they look at me with a sense of befuddlement. And I say, I know this is, counterproductive to my job of trying to sell you more shades, but why do you need a shade here? And when they actually stop and think about it, they realize 9 times out of 10, they have not actually even thought about it. So they'll say, oh, light. And I'll say, well, do we want to cut down the light? Do we need control, do we want to control the heat? Is it fading? Is it privacy? Is it a combination of any of those things? And so I'll do my best to ask those questions, kind of interview them about each area and each window, each door. And depending on what answers they give me, I can then give them feedback. Okay, this is the type of treatment that would best achieve what you're trying to do. And sometimes I tell them, don't cover this. Like once we talk it through, they realize, oh, well, I guess just because I was covering those 3 windows, I thought I had to cover this slider. And I'll explain to them, you don't have to. I'll show them pictures. Here's a room where we did 3 windows and we didn't do the slider. And it was planned out, so it looks just fine. Everything's still in balance. So the process, it can start a few different ways, but it really comes down to me or one of our salespeople interviewing that homeowner about what their needs are for each area and then educating them on how we can achieve that.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain types of materials that mitigate heat better than others. Is that correct?
Yes. I mean, it's not as complicated as some people might make it sound. The thicker the material, the more it's going to stop the heat from coming in. The lighter the material, because of its reflective nature, the more it'll keep heat out. So that's why a lot of times you'll see shades, even if they're gray or black on the inside, they'll be white on the backside for that reflective property. There are some materials now, though, that have special coatings that have been invented, so they can be black or tan or gray on the backside and still be reflective because they may have a ceramic or other patent pended, technology on the back. So with window treatments, at least with indoor window treatments, it's usually about reflectivity. So we're trying to reflect that sun back out. The other thing we can do for heat is density. So if it's a wood blind or if it's a drapery that we line or interline, just getting those layers up against the window help to keep that radiant heat out. We also do a lot of outdoor shades. With outdoor shades, it's just about blocking and reflecting that sun, that heat before it heats up the glass and the hardware. So depending on the type of treatment, there are different avenues for trying to reduce the heat as much as possible.
You're definitely a mastermind in this space. There's a lot that most people don't think about. You did mention your showroom. I think maybe tell our listeners a little bit where that's at, and can they just drop in, or is it appointment only? And do you have fabrics there and things for them to see?
Sure. So our showroom, like you said, I've been doing this close to 30 years. I've installed window treatments in no less than a dozen states around the country. Originally from the East Coast, so I worked for a bunch of companies over there. I've worked for a couple here. And I am proud to say that we have one of the nicest showrooms in the country. And we do get that compliment from homeowners who have bought homes and built homes all around the country. So for anyone who is local here in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area, we'd love if you stop by and really took a look at it and took advantage of it. So we're located in the Scottsdale Air Park. We're on we're on 82nd Street between Bell and Princess, right by the Princess Resort. Some of us, and for those of you coming from out of town, if you're going to the Bird's Nest, we are directly across the street from the Bird's Nest. So we get to listen to sound check all week long. The whole building just rattles all week. It's just a great time.
Get a free concert at work.
We get, a free muffled concert. So if you ever want, but one time I remember I was coming back from an appointment and four of the girls who working in the office were all standing outside listening to Florida Georgia Line. Now, they were listening to Florida Georgia Line. It sounded like that. So it wasn't the best concert, but they were just out there happy as can be until I said, hey, it's noon. We need to keep working.
Get back to work.
We usually get a lot of clients, homeowners, builders, designers we work with that hit me up that week. Hey, can I park in your parking lot? I can just walk across the street. So it is prime real estate for that. But the rest of the week it is pretty nuts. So I always tell people don't come the week of the open because it's going to take you an hour to get in and out of our parking lot, which usually takes about 2 minutes. So, we're right there by the Princess Resort.
Do your prime clients get parking there if they need it?
Anyone who's ever hit me up, yes, we get them a parking pass because we're technically inside a restricted area, and you need a pass to get in. I don't know.
Do you want to edit this out?
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't say all this. But if anybody needs, just call me. And if you've done business with us, then we'll hook you up.
Good to know.
So we're open Monday through Friday. Someone's always there from 9 to 4. If you need to come hours on the weekend or after hours, I'm more than happy to accommodate. You can just drop by anytime. We have lots of shades on display, lots of shades you could play with, both indoor and outdoor shades. Motorized pergolas, which has been a big hit for us. We have those on display. People love seeing those, playing with those. We do recommend you make an appointment if you know you're coming down, just so we can make sure we have a salesperson ready to meet with you and discuss, different options with you. But if you happen to just be in the air park and you want to drop in, we will not turn you away.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah, so you mentioned that outdoor pergola when we were on the phone. Is that something new that you've been doing, the outside stuff, or?
Yeah, so that's something that I was hesitant to get into. Being in window treatment so long, I never touched any outdoor pergolas, but we kept getting requests with all the outdoor shades we were doing. We kept getting requests from some of our clients to do some outdoor pergolas. And then about 5 years ago, my business partner and I found some motorized pergolas that were a nice, modern, clean look and fit the type of homes and clientele that we usually work with. So we brought that product on. We tried a few different vendors. It was very slow going at first, as most new things are. Our guys weren't well trained, so every time we sold a job, there was a lot of training involved. There was a lot of mistakes made, and we learned things the hard way. And we were only doing maybe one or two a year. Fast forward to COVID, all of a sudden, everybody now wants to use their outdoor space. So that business picked up for us exponentially. Now we're doing like one or two a month, and they've become a very big part of our offering. So we have two very large systems in our showroom on display, and we usually with the shades, we don't always have to have people in our showrooms, but with those pergolas, one, they are quite expensive, and two, you really need to see them. So we heavily encourage people to come in if you're thinking about one of those motorized pergolas, see them on display, because a lot of our competitors in town don't even have displays. They're trying to sneak into somebody else's backyard to show you a project they might have done a year ago. We have them on display so that the homeowner can sit there, play with them, use them, and they really do sell themselves. We've had a lot of people who just say, look, it's too expensive, we're not going to do it. No problem. We're still doing shades for them. And they come by to pick out their shade fabrics. They look at the pergolas, and then they're like, okay, I'll spend that extra 50, 70, 80 grand. That's happened numerous times.
Well, because it extends the outdoor space.
Yes.
Correct.
It makes a whole nother
Yeah.
outdoor room, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, and adds the value. Can you tell us a little bit how you collaborate with architects and builders?
So a few different ways. We do offer what they call lunch and learns to architecture firms, especially if they have a group of architects, junior architects working in front of them. So we can show them the products that we offer. So that way, when they are meeting with their clients and designing a home, they know how to tie these things into the home so they can benefit their clients. We set up these lunch and learns where we offer education, we offer specs, examples, just so these architects and or builders know how to fit them into these new homes. After that, we try to, as much as possible, tell the builders and architects, same thing that I said in the beginning, bring us in as early as you can. The earlier you bring us in, the better it is for everyone. The last thing I want, some architects and builders are a lot more hands-on, and they want to have say in the type of shade material, how the shades are being used, where they're being used. Others are a little more hands-off, where they just say, hey, I think you should do shades in this room. Go talk to Eric and the team at Modern Shade. So every builder's a little bit different, but we're here for it all. So if you want to dictate exactly what fabric your client uses, as long as your client is okay with that, I'm okay with that. Those builders obviously have to have a lot more trust built up with their clients. But if they have that and they're okay picking that stuff, we're okay, talking with them about the final selections. Other builders and architects, like I said, they want to stay out of that, so they'll just have the homeowners meet with us directly, and we love meeting with the homeowners. They are usually a bit more indecisive than the builders and architects. I think I mentioned, when we were talking about like blackout and room darkening, some homeowners like that room to be pitch black, their primary bedroom to be pitch black when they drop the shades. Other homeowners prefer some natural light coming in so they know when the sun's up, they know when to wake. And somehow those two people usually meet each other and marry, and then come into our showroom where I get to be a marriage counselor, and they fight over who's going to win on the window treatment side.
Yeah.
And that's part of what we do. And if I was an architect, I'm sure they've heard plenty of other fights between that couple. They don't want to hear them fight about window shades. So we take that on, and we're happy to do it.
Yeah. I mean, from our perspective, being in the luxury real estate market and selling modern homes, the difference between a truly custom home and a spec house, we sell a lot of spec houses. The number one and two things that are overlooked are not finished on a spec house is window coverings, and also AV is overlooked. And so when our buyers are buying these spec properties, you almost have to backtrack once they move in to be able to fit the shades in to get the AV in. So it's really interesting. All right.
We've been doing quite a bit of that, quite a bit of spec homes that are sold, and then, or they won't be sold until the shades are done. So we'll get a call from the realtor, and the realtor will say, okay, I know I've never called you before, but I need $50,000 of shades installed in a week.
Yep.
So I could get this house sold.
Condition disclosed.
Yeah, exactly. And so we've been getting quite a bit of that too, just like you said.
Yep. All right. Well, it's time on our show. We like to do a little rapid fire. So we have a couple questions, just whatever comes to mind, one word or one sentence. Are you down to play?
Sure.
All right. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night.
Night owl?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even close.
What's the biggest challenge when it comes to shade installation?
Finding good installers. That's at least my biggest challenge since I'm not manually doing it. As far as shade installation, the biggest challenge would be finding that happy medium for where everyone involved wants, because the architect wants us to install it here. The designer says, no, put it down here. The homeowner says, put it here. So it's just pleasing everybody involved. Sorry, that's a long answer.
No, I can imagine. Favorite time of year?
Favorite time of year? I've never thought about that. I would have to say it used to be summer before I lived in Arizona. Now I would probably say fall, just because that's when, at least here, we get a nice little break from the heat. My daughter goes back to school. And it means we're about to eat a whole lot of food for the holidays. So I would say the fall.
Okay, good answer.
Good answer. So I won't use the word blackout necessarily, but room darkening or light filtering shades, what's your personal preference?
Oh, me? This is gonna sound bad. I don't care. I leave the shades on my bedroom windows open. I'm such a heavy sleeper. I wake up when I wake up. It doesn't matter if it's bright outside or not. I know I get that question a lot. Oh, what kind of shades do you have? There's that old saying, never get high in your own supply. So I don't even have shades on my bedroom window.
We are finding that with a lot of our guests, like landscape designers not having
landscape.
Yeah. I mean, you would be surprised, and I'm kind of more like you too now.
Maybe I'm just burnt out on shades. I don't know.
No, don't say that. You're
Just
too
a good
young.
sleeper.
Yeah.
What's one word your friends would use to describe you? That's
Busy.
Yeah.
Busy. I stay pretty. I mean, I feel like everybody in this room here does, but I stay pretty busy as a business owner. And I wasn't always a business owner, so that's something I had to learn how to do. I'm still learning how to do. And the best way I can do it is just by trying to stay busy as much as possible and let the people that work for me, that work with me, know that I'm not taking any time off and I'm always busy, for better or worse. Sometimes, that could be annoying to others when I'm on my phone a lot. But yeah, I'm sure they would all say Eric's very busy.
Well, but leading by example says something too. If you're willing to put in the work, it says something to your employees and the people you work with too, I think.
Yes, I'm going to show them that you said that. I'm like, see, guys?
Well, and for us, it pays off when we call you and say, hey, we need $50,000 worth of shades put in this house in a week.
Exactly.
So,
I can't let that call go to voicemail.
Exactly. Well, Eric, thank you so much for coming
pleasure.
on our show. We are going to link all of your contact information in the show notes, but if you could, please let our listeners know where they could find you.
Sure. So modernshade.net. So www.modernshade, only one shade, no plural, .net is our website. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. I will be honest, we're not as active as we used to. But we're going to try to, that's one of our goals this year, to be a little more active on social media. I think we do have a TikTok page, but it's very inactive. So I've been working on some of my dances. So
Sounds like your 12-year-old daughter can help out with that.
Yeah.
Yeah?
She's not allowed on TikTok. We'll get there eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, she's not allowed on TikTok yet. But the dances, I'm sure somehow she probably knows this. I'm joking. I'm not going to do any dances, but we would like to do some more videos. Obviously, our showroom, like I said, open Monday through Friday. We're at 17255 North 82nd Street, Suites 110 and 115. Please feel free to drop by anytime. But on our website, y'all see our phone number, our address, and a lot of examples of jobs we've installed.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right. That's it for today's Modern Home Mastermind. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe, like, and rate.
Thanks to our guest for sharing his insights, and thank you for learning about everything modern with us.
And if you are ready to take the next step in your real estate journey, please reach out to us at Bespoke Real Estate. And until next time, keep living, loving everything modern.